Hello and welcome. So like always, let's do feet flat on the floor if you can. This is grounding. I'm slipping back into old patterns. And Jesus told me, who I'm quite in communication with regularly, some patterns are okay to fall back on. There's power there. Use what you can. So for these practices, this work that we're doing, it's good to be grounded. Grounded in the body, not so much that, but grounded in the present moment. Grounded in the present moment. I think that's where that keeps coming. I keep trying to bring that back because that's where the power is. We want to be grounded in this present moment. So it helps to have feet flat on the floor with that, if you can. And just take a couple of deep breaths. And repeat after me. I am here to be truly helpful. I am here to represent him who sent me. I do not need to worry about what to say or what to do. Because he who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with me. I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. So I've had a pretty amazing day again in this new field of peace that I encompass. I'm really letting go of this identification with the ego thought system, this insane voice in my head. It's not me. And letting go of all of the stories, letting go of trying to fix all of the stories. This has been a big shift for me. Letting go of trying to fix this shit show. Letting go of trying to rearrange the chairs on the Titanic. Being under Christ control, clueless, carefree, cared for, guided. My ego hates that. And that's okay. Because there's themes that are coming up. The theme is that my ego hates that. It makes a bunch of noise and I get to recognize even deeper that that's not what I am. And there's nothing to fix. And I'm not in control of this. It's a script that I'm watching. And I can either be in the battleground with the insane voice talking to itself, the ego, or I can be above the battleground watching the script with Holy Spirit. And that's a decision that I make. So today, as the transformation artist goes about her business, I'm just letting go, relinquishing control, minding less. Calico said this the other day. I had to go back and listen because I knew that there was something that she said about the mind that was so relevant to this process that I'm in of becoming careless. I'm a recovering over-carer. And with being an over-carer, I mind a lot about a lot of things. And so that whole I don't mind, like when somebody does something, oh, I don't mind. Like that doesn't bother me. When something happens, I don't mind. Like I'm minding less. Noticing that. I'm caring less. It doesn't affect me. I'm not that which is affected. I'm that which watches the one who's being affected. And the peace that comes with this is profound. And it's sustainable and it's exciting. Yeah. The ego is not the enemy here. This was the name of the video last night that I did. The ego is not the enemy. We're not here to fix it. Just waking up and choosing against it. Yeah. That's what I got going on. That's what I'm winding down, winding from. In this decision to see things differently, you said before the recording started that you have glasses. I was commenting that the glare on my glasses, I'm wearing different glasses today, glare on the glasses. And so part of this course is I'm determined to see things differently, right? And here I am wearing these glasses on my face. So last night I took the glasses off and I said, and I did this on camera, I'm like, I'm determined to see things differently. Let's see how far we can take this. Because there's no order of difficulty in miracles. So if I can learn to see my ego stories differently, of course I can learn to see the world without blurriness. So let's see how far we can take that. How are you doing, Christine?
I had a couple of intense days. I was at Andrew's for 2 nights, and I walked through. How do I say that? It's like when I'm there, everything is heightened, and then I get to come back home and take some breaths. Like integrate what just happened, and because there is some serious sensitivity going on, like really, really going on, and like things. I don't even know how to give an example. I just I had moments where I would just be standing there frozen because like the trigger's coming up and the fight in my mind. There's like this war in my mind. I'm angry that the trigger's coming up. I wish it wasn't there. Um, like that pull from ego saying, no, don't express it. Don't, you know what I mean? Just and it's like this in the moment, and I freeze. I literally freeze, and I'm just frozen in place. So that happened a number of times, and we talked a lot. Like we joined a lot about where our minds are, and I don't know what to say about it. I feel like I want to share this lovely parable. I remember Eric from Living Miracles shared it with me. It's about Andrew's brother Jason. It's so sweet. Apparently they were doing groceries. Living Miracles. They were gonna go out and go to groceries, and Jason wanted chocolate milk on the list. Well, they came back with no chocolate milk. And at this point in time, Jason had been with Living Miracles. Who knows how long? It's been like 18 years or something like that he's been with them. So this is like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I'm not sure, right? Like he's really, his mind training is like Jason is like, wow, you know? And so Eric's like, okay, there's no chocolate milk. And Jason was really triggered, like devastated that there is no chocolate milk. And Eric was like, what's the big deal? Like, like you've been here for a long time. Why are you so triggered by chocolate milk? You know, and if it was me, I'd just be like, okay, whatever, I'll have something else. And, you know, but then it was like he realized, oh, it's like that's all it takes. Just chocolate milk. Like that's sensitive, how beautifully sensitive you start to become, that it only takes chocolate milk to show you what's in your mind, your attachments, your preferences, your, you know, all those outcome attachments and thinking you need something. And it was the way he shared it, it was like an kind of sharing. It was so helpful for me. And I never forgot it. It just feels so soft and gentle, this reminder of careful not to judge how it looks, because that is something that happens with me a lot, judging how it looks in terms of my reaction to things. So it doesn't take very much anymore. And being around Andrew is like, it's like there's a laser honing in on very specific triggers all day, all day, even during the night. You know, even during the night, I didn't fall asleep last night till around 3:30, and I left the bed and went to the couch. And then he woke me up in the morning when I was on the couch, and he was like, come back to bed. So I went back to bed. So it's like this whoosh, 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 whoosh the whole time. The whole time I'm there, the whole time we're around each other. And I feel like there's a lot of emotion. And I hate when I feel emotion and I try to pretend it's not there. Like I need to just, if I need to be alone, then fine, be alone. But go be with the emotion. Don't try to not be with the emotion. Like I can't believe this still comes up for me, because I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it at all. This whole pretending thing, or trying to whoosh something to the side. You know, it's awful. It's worse than a trigger. So there's a lot going on. A lot. Yeah.
I was guided to, I don't know how, it's amazing. I don't know how these things happen all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, and you find yourself in this place where you didn't expect to go. And David's community in Mexico cost $2,000 to spend 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I could have told you.
She says, like, with shock and like so many blockages come up. There's no fucking way I can afford that. I'm gonna fill out the forms anyway because I expect miracles.
Yes, do it
But yeah,
anyway.
it was just like, whoa, 2000 American, I'm in Canada, American dollars? That's even more than $2,000.
Yes. It's like 2,500.
It's like, oh, so yeah, the mind had some things to say for a while afterwards about that whole adventure. It's like, yeah, let's fill out the form, even if it takes you a week. Whatever, it took Christine a week. Just do it.
So the very first time I was with Living Miracles, it was $1,000 American.
Yeah.
And then the next time I was with them, it was 1,500 American dollars. So it was really 1,500, 2,000, and now it's like going to be 2,500, right? So Yeah. I know. Each time was like, ugh, like,
Yeah. Yeah, so letting that go, letting all those thoughts go, and just, I don't mind.
yeah, you have to expect miracles. Like, like, if you will be a miracle worker for me, I will arrange space and time for you. Like the parables that Living Miracles has about the arrangement of space and time is mind blowing. Really, really mind blowing.
I've experienced several of those types of mind-boggling miracles when it comes to space and time and things that don't make sense. And where did that money come from? For me, it was a lot of times like, where did that come from? It wasn't mine. I didn't come up with it. When something's meant to be, it'll happen.
Yeah, in 2018 or 2017, my mother gave me a chunk of inheritance. And and at the time I was communicating with Sarah St. Clair a lot. She was really helpful. And she was very clear with me. She said, "So, you've got this money coming to you. Remember that it's not Christine's money. It's not Christine's money. It's Holy Spirit's money. Like all the money is actually Holy Spirit's money. Even the money that I had made and saved and whatever. No, 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 no. It's all Holy Spirit's money. And that money has a purpose and a function, and it will be played out. Like you'll know what it is. You'll find out what it is when it's time." But that was really humbling to take the personal, not what am I going to do this with the money. It's not like what is the money going to do with me? Like how is Spirit going to direct where this is going? And it turned out it was Living Miracles in Mexico, right? I didn't know it was going to look like that. But the money came at Christmas, and then by May, I was fired from my job. Like the position was no longer available, you know, and so it's like the timing of things, like the money comes in, the job comes to an end, and in a way that it had to end that like that because I would have tried to work my way back in. You know what I mean? But it was time. It was time to go, and it became very clear what the money was for. Hmm. It was even easy to like when you're. I find that when I'm really following, how do I say that? It's like it's like this isn't the right words, but it's like I end up doing things that I never thought that I wouldn't be able to do in Christine's mind. But through the Holy Spirit's way, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I got on a plane by myself, flew to Mexico by myself to a hot country. I've never been to a hot country in the winter before. I didn't know who was picking me up. I didn't know Franco. And he's taking me to this town that I've never like, you know what I mean? It's just fucking bizarre. Like in Christine's mind, through her filter, no fucking way would that have ever happened. But following, it just kept rolling. The ball just kept rolling. No, you're doing this, and you're doing this, and you're doing this. Yeah. That's why the only decision I can ever make is willingness. That's it. That's my
Yeah, the
only
decision to say
contribution.
yes.
Yeah.
The decision to say yes. Peace. The decision to say yes to peace. Yeah.
Mhm.
And yes to guidance. Yeah. It's amazing, once you break it down, it's really that simple. Like we're just choosing peace. Yeah. So once you do a 4 week stay, do you just have free reign? Like, do you guys have to do a 4 week stay or a 12 week stay, or do you kind of get to pick and choose once you've done it a few times?
Well, based on my experience, um, yeah, based on my experience, uh, there's a high percentage of the time that you go for a short stay for your first time. I know there are people that is just super guided, and it's like, yeah, you're staying, right? But for the most part, I think it's like, let's get your feet wet. Yeah, we feel you to come. We prayed, we feel you to come. Let's get your feet wet. Let's see what comes up and what that feels like, what you walk through, what happens, you know. Mhm. But I think what'll happen is you'll fill out your form, and whoever is handling that stuff at this time will contact you, and then it'll be clear. It'll be really clear. Like, who knows what it'll look like.
Certainly not me. I certainly don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
That much is clear. Yeah.
And I haven't been there in a while. I haven't been there since um like early 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I know that things have shifted, and
It'll be different.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was really I don't know, I would say kind of tight before. It was kind of tight, as in like so you come for a devotional stay and you get assigned like a person that you're linked to. So when you have triggers and that kind of thing, this is the person you go to, right? And and you get your assignments, like your functions within the house or the property or whatever. It might be kitchen, it might be yard, who knows, computer stuff. I don't know, right? It could be anything. And it's all done through prayer. Everything, every single thing
Mhm.
that you would walk through on a property would comes down to prayer, right? All based on what serves the whole in terms of the sonship. So yeah, but from my understanding, things have gotten a little more relaxed there. So it was just really tight all the times that I was there. I mean, that was really helpful. It's like you get up in the morning and uh you have your breakfast, and then there's like an expression session kind of thing every morning at the same time, and then you go into your function, and then if you're in kitchen, then you're making lunch for everybody, and then probably another expression session in the afternoon, and then a movie or
How many
whatever.
people?
It just depends. Like the first time I was there, we were getting ready for Strawberry Fields Festival. So it was a really skeleton crew at first. And then as we got closer to the event, more people started showing up. So that wasn't the normal stay. The second time, there was only like, I think maybe 4 or 5 of us in the house for a
Wow.
while. And then I was there for like 10 weeks. So then David came and Spaba came and Jason came, and people just kind of came and went. Yeah.
Cool. Have you
But,
been to the Utah place?
sorry?
Have you been to Utah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's where you went first, right?
Yeah, they had a property in Camas, and then they had the monastery out in the Strawberry Canyon. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, yeah, I've been to both. It's really beautiful. The canyon, the monastery is very secluded. There's plenty of space if you want to scream at the whatever, just go scream your head off if that's what you need to do. And yeah, it's like the perfect cocoon for healing in terms of the space being held, expression sessions, whatever you need to express, and they call you out on your shit. I mean, you're there to go deeper, you're there to see the truth, right? So stuff comes up and things, the discomfort comes up, resistance comes up, and it gets shown to you. At least that was my experience. Yeah. But I think that was my experience because I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed someone to tell me, Christine, da 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 da. Oh shit. Right? Other people I know didn't quite have the same, wasn't quite the same.
A highly individualized curriculum.
Yeah. Hmm. And it's funny because I have run from Living Miracles twice, I think. And I have like tried to get there, but the resistance was so high and I just couldn't fucking get there. Yeah, yeah. I'm not the first one to run from them and I'm not the last one.
If there's not people running from them, they're not doing their job right.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Like Calico said, if I don't piss you off at some point, you're not listening.
Yeah. Well, I remember Diana, one time when I was there, Diana was sharing the story, and she was kind of in charge of all of us for a while, and she was sharing a parable about a guy that was there. I don't know who, and he was being asked, "Are you feeling anything yet? Like, have you noticed?" He's like, "No, no, I'm not feeling anything." Okay, well, you will. And then checking in again, are you feeling anything? It's like, no, 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 I'm not. So they asked him to leave. You're not ready. You gotta go.
Yeah. If you can't feel it yet, you're not ready.
Yeah. And I remember with me, the Strawberry Field stay, we were watching movies night after night, and I wasn't feeling anything watching these movies. And it was a lot of movies I hadn't seen. And Diana was like, "It's okay, you will." So then one night they put Frozen on, and I hadn't seen it, and my mind fucking cracked open watching Frozen. I remember sitting in the floor like, whoa, we mind it, It just cracked wide open. And what's so great is there is full permission for whatever reaction you have. Like I remember Jenny and Diana. We watched a movie. I think it was Revolver, and I had a question, and it wasn't a real question. It was not a real question. And Diana said that to me, and I was so triggered, and I just kind of like, it's like my anger about the trigger just kind of made me really stiff inside. And then the next day, Diana and they both texted me, and I was like, "Fuck you, bitches! Stay away from me. I don't want to see your fucking faces. I don't want to hear your fucking voices. I don't want to be in the same room as you. Stay the fuck away from me." And the response was like, "Okay, we love you." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck you." Like there's just so much space to really let it rip, whatever it is. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant cocoon. Like they have got you. They got you. Like really. It's really brilliant. If that is helpful.
Mm-hmm. I'm feeling very pulled.
Hmm?
I'm feeling very pulled.
Pulled.
Yeah, very pulled. I'm
What
being
does that
drawn.
mean?
Just pulled. I'm being drawn somewhere.
Mm.
A magnet.
You just mean like this, not like this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
not pulled apart. I'm done that. I'm finished with the bucking bronco. There's no more war. It's just peace. I can see the ego, and that's not me.
Maybe the hardest part is over for you. I remember different people telling me that once or twice. It's like, oh, okay. Like people that are really, really trusted from living miracles. Yeah, the hardest part, you're past the hardest part.
Well, I think like once you get it, like get it, and it becomes simple.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for
Once
me,
you,
if that was the hardest part, then it's done. I'm not resisting anymore. I can see it.
yeah,
But I'm not going to get cocky with that or arrogant with that, right? Because I know about the ego backlash and it's probably just waiting for me to let my guard down and be all like, I got this. And it'll be like, oh, do you? Test, test. So yeah, but it really I get the simplicity of it now. It's just so simple. There's no fighting, there's no striving. It's just peace. And yeah, I definitely am feeling drawn, pulled the community. Yeah, to be called out. Because I didn't come here to play a small game. And I need others. Like I know somebody right now who's just started an intimate relationship. And like I said to you a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago, whenever I said that, like there's so much power in an intimate relationship. You get to do work that I can't do right now because you're being triggered in a way that I'm not. I don't have somebody triggering me. It's just me. Whereas you and this other person that we were just talking about it, like how much of a blessing it is to be in relationship. And it doesn't, I mean, living with somebody is intimate, whether you're having sex or not. So I think being in community, obviously it's not the same type of intimacy, but I think it's enough to just have that reflection. Like I live by myself, so I can go, I mean, I don't often go all day, but I can go hours without seeing another person. Whereas if I'm in a community, that's just not going to happen.
yeah, yeah. I lived with myself for a really long time, and I was single most of my life. And being in community, um, it's like when the job ended and a few months went by, and then I left for Utah. It's like I got a super concentrated injection of like, this is everything you need. This is everything you're gonna need. I didn't know that at the time, but it was like, this is everything you're gonna need. Like I thought I was probably I thought there was a chance I'd be with him for the rest of my life, right? But it turns out it was 10 weeks. you know, so it was a super concentrated injection, and it's like, okay, now take that with you, and it's not gonna look how you think it's gonna look. Now you're going to Jimmy's. I thought I was going to Mexico to continue being with Living Miracles. Nope. You're going to Jimmy's and you're going to practice what you were injected with. You're going to practice that practical application, you know? And I got to be in another community in a different kind of way. Yeah. Like I got to see a lot of triggers about how I thought spirituality is supposed to look.
Mhm.
I mean, it's supposed to look like David's group because that's fucking working. This is fucking working. What's going on over there? That's fucking working, you know? So of course that's where I want to be. Of course that's where I'm supposed to be. I'm taking this spirituality shit seriously. you know? this is my number one goal. I want to be an A student, you know? And I like There's a tiny bit of a rug pull. I needed a bit of a rug pull. You know, it's not like spirit whips it out from under you, but I needed a little bit of a pull, you
Yeah.
know? So I was like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? You know? But the lessons came. They really, really came. And I got to practice really dropping in and holding expression sessions and really practicing the experience of pausing in the group, waiting for that, oh yeah, for that, just that Holy Spirit feeling to drop in and then hold the space for the entire group. Like be the container for the group, you know, and hold, like really hold the line if somebody stepped out. You know what I mean? Like it was really, there's no room for compromising, right? So yeah, it was really rich and deep. The ability to, the practical application, like practice what I got. I recommend it.
What's the difference between David's and Jimmy's place?
Honestly, I would say nothing. For me, nothing.
Is Jimmy's like, so David is a Course in Miracles
Yeah.
teacher. Is Jimmy also, or is that the
Well,
non-dualistic
you know, it's not
spiritual
as simple as that, really. It's really not, because
course? Yeah.
if you're walking around living miracles, you may not see one copy of the course. They may all be tucked away somewhere in an office or something. You may not even see a copy, or you might, you know, because it's about the practical application. And a lot of the people that have been there, I don't know what they call themselves anymore. They went through different iterations for different healing purposes, right? So, but the ones that have been there from the beginning, it's like they've moved past really needing the course, you know, like they've gotten to the point where you can drop this, you know.
Mhm.
Not that it's not used or referenced, it definitely is. And Jimmy's heart is so open. Um, I mean, it is Course in Miracles based, right? But his heart is so open, and he's a Franciscan monk, and
Ah,
he loves Saint Francis. If you ever hear him talk about Saint Francis, it's just like his beloved. And David talks about Saint Francis too. Like he loves Saint Francis, you know? So it's all inclusive, but the work is the same.
mhm, mhm.
The truth is the same, you know? And not everybody would say the communities are the same. They were the same for me because of the purpose that they served.
Right.
But other people would describe them very differently, I think, at least at the time. Yeah.
Did Jimmy used to be with David and then he branched out?
I know that he spent time there. There are videos of Jimmy's in some of their videos. Um, I don't really know how they came together, or how much time was spent like this, or how they, you know what I mean? I know how Jimmy came across his property. The story behind the Namaste property is brilliant. It is lovely. It is like a demonstration of, wow, that's Holy Spirit knocking on the door saying, come in. You know what I mean? Like it's so brilliant. So I think they're just each following their path, you know, as clearly, and I don't know, just there's a lot of clarity. There's a lot of truth and clarity being demonstrated, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Like at the time, I didn't know it, but at the time, I needed to watch a lot of TV for my healing. And at that time, I don't think that would have been an option at Living Miracles. There's 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 functions throughout the day, and there's expression sessions. There's shit going on that you participate in, you know?
Is it mandatory to participate?
Sorry?
Is it mandatory to participate?
At the time it was. When you go, this is what you sign up for. So
Yeah.
you know what you're getting into. You don't know what it's going to be like or what you're going to feel, because it's designed to trigger things. It's designed to feel vulnerable and
Mhm.
exposing, right?
Yeah.
So, but what I needed was 10 hours a day to watch Teen Wolf and get cracked open, like, and I didn't know that was coming, but that's what it needed to be for me, and I needed to see, like, hear, listen, and see. This is where you need to be, not over here. You're attached to this thought of thinking spirituality has to look like living miracles, or you're wrong. Like, really, that's what I thought. If you're not doing it like this, you're wrong.
Mhm.
Like, that's really closed, and I had to be shown. I
Mhm.
had to be shown. And one of the funny things that happened was, I think it was actually the first night I was there. I don't know. The timeline's funny when miraculous things are happening. But I remember a guy, and it's funny I'm calling him a guy, but he came out of his room, which was right beside mine. And when I saw him, I felt like I was meeting Christ. And I just kind of went into shock and, like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then he was going to Jimmy's all the time, and he had just been at a retreat, Living Miracles. And um so we were going over there together and everything, and I remember being like, dude, I can't fucking look at you. Like, don't look at me, look away, because it's too fucking intense. I see the Christ. Like, it took me a couple of days to really be open to hearing what I was really experiencing, because when I saw him, I jumped to this interpretation of, oh, I'm attracted to him. I jumped into like a personal, between bodies kind of interpretation. And
Mhm.
then it took a couple days, and it was like, oh my God, this is like the experience of Christ. Like, it was so bright. It was so bright. And I wasn't falling in love with a man. I
Mhm.
was seeing Christ, the
Mhm.
inner Christ.
Seeing your brother for who he really is.
Yeah, yeah. And it
Yeah.
was so miraculous.
Beautiful.
And that was my introduction to Jimmy's, really. His name was Mark. Yeah, it was just so brilliant. Once I heard what it really was, I was like, oh. And then I told him, and he was like, oh my God. Like, he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But it was so great because we were in a big group when we were at dinner. And I was like, Mark, don't fucking look at me. It's I can see the Christ. Like, it's too intense. And everybody at the table is like, wow. Like, it was just so shiny, the experience. Like, even me talking about it now, I can tell there's this light that's like beaming off. I can feel it. So yeah, that was how I landed it.
Cool.
So many things
Yeah.
fell into place, like click clack, click clack, click clack. You know, yeah. But it took me a little while to really get through the right and wrong in terms of spirituality. Because I would have said for sure the way they're doing it at Jimmy's is not totally, no, no. Go to Living Miracles. But what the fuck do I know? What did I need? I needed Living Miracles, and then I needed Jimmy's.
Mhm.
You know, and there were some people who came from Living Miracles and had judgments. Like, you guys aren't really doing the work, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden there's an experience and there's a switch, and it's like, whoa, wow, no, it is happening. It's happening. Yeah. You get to practice. I got to practice holding the space for myself and listening for myself, dropping in for myself. It's really helpful when you're partnered up with somebody that is committed to pausing, praying, listening, following, and not willing to compromise on sharing all of that. Like, if that is what's needed for a period of time, then it's really supportive and brilliant to have that. Living Miracles gave me that.
That's my new note. Pray, or sorry, pause. I already have pray, listen, follow, but I love the way you said that. Pause, pray, listen, follow, and then I added underneath rinse, repeat.
It
Pause.
is very much rinse repeat.
Yeah, yeah. But I love that pause. Like, cause I'm trying to train myself to do this throughout the day. Get out of the way. Just get out of the way. And so I like that pause, pray. And yeah, for me that just means get out of the way.
Yeah, for me, pause right away. I stop what I'm doing. If I have to close my eyes, then I close my eyes. Sometimes the visualness of the illusion out there is too distracting. So I close my eyes. Like, the word pause just activates this chain of events. And I know if I'm not really pausing. I can tell if I'm not really pausing, you know?
You just got like the pretend pause. Does the ego pause for you? Try to trick you into thinking that it's pausing?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I'm at a point now, and I've been here for a while, where I can't get away with anything. I've been like, it's been that way for me for a number of years now. Like, I can't get away with anything. I know that it's happening while it's happening, and
Damn,
there's nothing I
ego
can do
must
about it.
hate that.
Well, it's maddening, but it's a fucking
Yeah,
relief. Let's face
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah. There's like
that's where the
split
magic
mind.
is. Like,
Yeah.
it's it's so quick, and the pain of delay, whatever form it takes, is like boom, instant, boom, instant. So when you talked about ego backlash, that's how I feel it. I feel it, boom, like diarrhea, boom, headache through here. Like, my knee starts to swell.
Mm.
Like, uh, uh, yeah, for me, it's like ego backlash in terms of, oh my god, my experience. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. And then 20 minutes later, boom, ego backlash.
Mm.
You know, and for me, it's pretty consistent with how it looks. Yeah, yeah. I can't get away with anything. I've tried. I think David likes to call it the rabbit hole. Like, once you've made it to a certain depth in the rabbit hole, there's nowhere to go
Mhm.
but Jesus. Like, that's the only place left. It is actually really nice. There isn't
Is
a
that
whole lot out there that's convincing, like enticing, and you know, enticing in a convincing way. Like, there's just not a lot out there for me that feels that way. Traveling, like I pause with things because I remember with Living Miracles. I remember Michael asking me, "What do you want? Is there anything you still want in the world? Is there anything you still want?" Like, really ask yourself that question. And really be open to anything that you might desire still from the world. Like really honest, and so when I ask myself that question, even now, I, I'll taste different things, like taste, like travel. Do I really want to travel? Lindsay was talking about going to Paris. Do I want to? Do I really feel like I need to go to Paris? So I want to go to Paris, and I'll taste it, and then it tastes like no. It's a no, actually. It's like I can feel myself there, and no, I don't need to do it.
Hmm.
So anything that I feel has that pang of like, ooh, maybe that would be nice. Okay, let's pause and taste it. Let's pause and go there in the mind. And how does it really feel? Really taste it. That seems to be my process.
Mhm. When I was a coach, I was always telling people, just try it on, like a pair of pants. Walk around, see how your bum looks.
It's so funny you say that because something that happened when I went from Living Miracles to Jimmy's, I started dropping weight. Enough weight that when I flew home for a month, I looked like a bum. Like everything was so big on me. And I went to try on pants and tried to open my mind up to skinny jeans. And I had done so much work on certain things while I was in Mexico. I'm in the change room. I'm putting my one leg into the skinny jeans and I have this revelation. And it's like, oh my God, I fucking hate skinny jeans. And I hate skinny jeans because they make me feel like I'm trapped under that car in that accident. The squeezing, it
Mhm.
was like it was choking me. Like I couldn't breathe with these jeans on. It was a revelation.
Mhm.
Like, yes, please, I will take it. If I can see there's a trigger through trying on a pair of jeans, oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause some people need stage 4 cancer to get that fucking message. Seriously, like some feel like car accidents, right? Stage 4 cancer, like we can learn to be sensitive enough to just get messages from Smallville and Skinny Jeans and Teen Wolf. We're doing pretty good.
I know my shower drain when I was at Jimmy's, I went through this phase. It kept getting clogged. I had short hair and it kept getting clogged. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, oh, I'm clogged. My mind is clogged. What is happening? Oh my God. I remember um I made a really, really good friend when I was there. Her name was Joy. She's Mexican. And she lived in the property. She helped Jimmy run it at the time. And I remember I know the guidance was leave your room and go talk to her. And about what I don't remember. But I couldn't leave my room. And then finally I was able to leave my room. And so I leave it and I go down, but I couldn't make it to her room. I could only make it as far as the common area. So I just sat down and I didn't move for like 20 minutes, just frozen. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't move any further. So I go back to my room and there was an ant invasion while I was gone. Thousands of ants made their way through my bathroom into the bedroom area under the desk, like a thick row of black ants, like millions of them in 20 minutes. And I was like, what the fuck? So I went into murder mode, right? And then I paused and I was like, okay, this is for me. This is a message for me. What is it? You know? And how did that go? It was like the message was like the ants are showing up to remind me that it's safe. Like, lean in. It's okay. We're actually here to support you. You know, all these ants. Oh my God. At one point, I was sleeping with the ants because there was a colony right outside my door, and I couldn't tell where they were coming in. And I was trying to fix shit so they couldn't get in. I was caulking, I was doing all kinds of things from where I thought they were coming from. And they were in the bed with me. They'd be crawling on my computer. We were just roommates. And then all of a sudden, one day, Spirit said, they're right outside the door in brick. And I was like, what? And so I went outside, and sure enough, they were just in a little hole inside the brick right outside my door. And they were there for me. The little tiny mighty companions showing up to show me something in my mind. Like, when you resist, we're going to show up and remind you to, you know, yeah, everything is for me.
Yep, lesson you would learn.
Yeah.
An opportunity to wake up further. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally amazing. Yeah.
I had a lot of really gentle experience. Like, I had a thing with the toilet, and that was showing me stuff. The cockroaches, like that showed me some stuff. I didn't want to skip over anything. I didn't want to dismiss anything. I
Mhm.
wanted to see.
Yeah. Determined to see things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you need to be determined. We need to be determined. Yeah. Because the ego's so fucking sneaky. If we're not determined, we're not paying attention. Mhm. Thank God for mighty companions.
It is really great. Like at Living Miracles, I could literally say anything. And with Jimmy, I could say anything to Jimmy. Anything at all. And with Andrew, I can do the same thing. It's a brilliant practice. I struggled when I first realized that I could do that. It was that safe. I freaked out. It was too much freedom. Um it was too much joy. It was too much support. It was, you know, like, it's really brilliant. Like, I remember with Jimmy, I was like Jimmy, sometimes I'm really attracted to you. And it was like, oh yeah. And then other times not at all. So sometimes it's like, ooh, Mr. Twyman. And because his name is Jimmy Twyman, right? And other times it's just Jimmy. And I got to be with that, whatever it was. It was really, really, really beautiful to just express and embrace whatever's happening in the moment.
Mhm.
Really innocent. It was really innocent. The demonstration of, like, oh, I'm noticing this thought. And because at the time I needed to say things out loud, I could, you know? But it was such a display of innocence to have a thought, no matter what it is, express it. And then it's okay. And then you don't have to hang on to it. It fades and becomes nothing. And then maybe it comes back. And then, like, it's so innocent. And it's all just for making space for the next thing that needs to boil up and out.
You know what I did today that I thought was really interesting? I looked up, I've got a ACIM app. I think it's called ACIM now. And it is the ability to search the course for phrases. You know what I looked for today and didn't find? Pull back the projection.
Hmm. Did you type in projection?
I just typed in pull back projection. I tried the projection. I tried a couple of things and then I just finally just said pull back projection, just those 3 words. Nope.
Hmm. Well, I know that message is in there.
Mhm.
Maybe not in those words, but the message is definitely in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm compiling a bunch of evidence right now for this peace talk that I'm going to do. And so, yeah, I've been searching the course, just like searching for this, and something will come to me. And because I'm looking for evidence, right? Like this comes from the course. This is not me making it up. Um, yeah, and I couldn't find them. Those 3 words, pull back, projection.
Look for what it says about projection.
Yeah, just type in projection and see.
Yeah.
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 Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because I get a lot of messages. And so I like this app because I can search and then I just save it to my reading list. So I've got quite a few, I have quite a lot of homework to do of reading the text because I'm still not all the way through it. I'm probably maybe halfway through reading all of the text. Yeah,
So you've been reading the course from like page one and you start,
that's
no.
not my style
Okay.
at all. No, I hear something like so probably from March until June, I studied the course without picking up the book. I listened to David Hoffmeister videos, I listened to Kenneth Wapnick videos, I listened to Keith Kavanaugh videos. I started joining Calico even before I picked up the course. I didn't do that until June 5th, 2023. And I didn't start reading it. That was when I did workbook lesson 1. I don't think I started reading it till a little while later. I read the Bible from front to back 3 times, like a novel. But this course, I don't know, doesn't seem to go that way for me. And I'm not surprised. Like that's just I'm not a linear thinker. I'm a random abstract thinker. Yeah. But I'm definitely like since I caught myself saying the other night I'm not studying the course. Like I caught myself in a big fat lie. And ever since I caught myself in a big fat lie, like maybe it's because what I said is I'm not studying the course. I'm obsessed with the course. I'm obsessed with studying this course. Yeah, I've got like a hyperfixation going on right now with the Course in Miracles. Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Kenneth Wapnick says this, this shouldn't become your life. And I'm like, well, sorry, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's already happened.
Yeah, I feel like it's like I I'm gonna say it this way anyway, but I feel like no wait, something else is coming in. Yeah, yeah, there it is. Okay, if there is a true commitment to healing, it does take over your life because it takes over the lies. Like it takes over the pretending. It takes over everything that's false. It is just like a flowing stream that just keeps coming in. It just covers everything up. So it does take over. Yeah. It it should permeate everything. If the commitment is true,
Hmm.
it permeates every single thing.
I was just listening to Gary Renard the other day of some interview he did with somebody, and um, he said that he reminded me that Artin in one of the books told him that if he wanted to, he could go his whole life without telling anybody about the course. As a student, we can do this whole course and never say a word to anybody. And I just thought, no, that is so not my fucking style at all. One of my favorite pastimes is to read books and tell people what I learned. And that was before Master Sha. I got obsessed with nutrition. And I love reading. I love learning things. And my first thing is like, who can I share this with? Like when I discovered inner peace, I'm like, who can I share this with? Who can I give this to?
Yeah, David actually talks about that. There's parts of the course that talk about it too. Like, um, there's actually a part in the course that talks about um, now, and I'm bastardizing this, but like, don't go out there and just start talking away to people about this because you're going to scare them. Like,
They're gonna
don't
think
do
you're a
that.
lunatic, yeah, and you'll
No,
scare them.
yeah, um,
Yeah. And they won't
yeah,
want to have anything to do with the course.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know what? That's where the pausing comes in. It's just I shouldn't say that's where it comes in. It's another place where it becomes useful to practice pausing.
Right.
Hey, pause. Do I really need to say this?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. It doesn't have to be about the course. It can be anything. Pausing. Do I really need to say this? I really need to share this. Do I, you know? And that's just another thing to pause for.
Mhm.
But if you're feeling guidance to make videos, well, there you go. That's all the talking you need to do. That is brilliant.
I was told to make this group public this weekend, Monday. The link will be made public by Monday.
I felt it. I felt it as soon as I told you, as soon as you told me that, they were all the videos, you needed the link. I had this feeling. I didn't share it with you, but I had this feeling. It's like, that's too tight. It needs to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the things I'm learning about myself is I still have control issues. And I'm trying to control things. Outcomes. That's what it is. I'm trying to control outcomes.
Yeah. When I started recording my videos, I've never done any editing. I just record it and it goes.
Hmm.
And that has been helpful because editing is, even at this point, it's dangerous, I think, for me to lean towards editing.
I don't like watching edited videos. It brings up my trust issues. I don't know what you're hiding. Like, as soon as I recognize that there's some edits going on in a video that I'm watching, it stirs up my trust issues. And maybe that's a good thing because we're here to be triggered and learn how to heal that. But yeah, I won't edit my videos just for that. I want it to be raw. I want it to be authentic, and I want it to be not edited. I want people to see the humanity of it. Like this is the unedited version of it. I think editing is like, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. I always felt that way. I went through a phase, a photography phase. It was actually about pausing. I didn't know it at the time. I was in my 20s, but it was about pausing and a little bit of transcending, like just touching on transcending on a different experience. And I never edited one photo. And I also deleted as I went. Like once I moved up to a digital camera, and that was so helpful. 'Cause you're right, it's just raw all the time. It's just, no, this is the image as it was, so that's how it's going to stay. And in the moment, it was like, nope, delete, nope, delete, nope, delete, nope, delete, and that's just because that's what felt supportive for me, which most people, professional people, do not delete anything. They delete nothing.
Mhm.
They go home, they sift through it. It's all special. Every picture is a special relationship. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like, no, I had to delete. It was like, it was too much. It was too much. Each picture was like held space in my mind. So it had to go. Stuff had to go. Yeah. Yeah. There's something more vulnerable about not editing the videos for me.
Mhm. And well, wouldn't your ego just step in and do the editing for you?
Um,
Like, wouldn't that just be so easy for the ego to just slip in there and
well, I'll say this about it. I did some editing for some of David's movie nights, movie gatherings.
yeah.
And obviously, none of that was ego.
How do
It
you
really,
know?
it wasn't, because I was following instructions.
Mhm.
It wasn't me deciding anything. I was
Right.
following instructions.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, yeah. For me, no, they have to be just full on and fully present and communicating whatever's coming up in the moment. Because
Mhm.
I'll get too concerned with how I look or how I sound or something.
Yeah. Could have done
Something
that better. Something.
adjacent to the message, adjacent to the intent, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Because then you start critiquing the messenger instead of just listening to the fucking message.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
It really has been a practice of vulnerability and exposing.
Mm.
Like real, like you're putting it out there. It's out there. So it's actually an invitation. It's an invitation for
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah.
So whatever is needed for healing, whatever is required for healing is going to show up.
That's such a trigger word for me, exposing. Oh. It gives me the willies just thinking about it being exposed.
Yeah. It's a good word for me. Because of how accurate it has felt. And then, like for me, it's like, oh, I feel really exposed. And then I watch myself retreat
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
I'm retreating. Well, let's go back. Oh no, I can't. I can't get back. I can't get back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess I'll probably be doing more lives. Took me a long time to get to that first one.
Yeah.
A long time. I'm excited to see what happens for you. with Living Miracles. Like when you fill out your thing, like your process
Mhm.
of filling it out and then uh, sending it and the response and who you connect with and how that goes and what are the triggers along the way, what is the guidance, like what what's something is gonna happen, you know.
Well, I'm already freaking out about the form. Let's start there. I have
Really.
such a struggle with forms. Yeah, I shut down. It's like a test. I would rather write a test than fill out a form. Yeah, I'm already freaking out. The video? Oh my fucking God, the video. That's like, I literally put my iPad down. I'm like, I'll deal with that later.
You have to do a video.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm basically explaining myself.
Oh my God, I have to tell you, my video, the first time I went, it wasn't a video. The second time I went, it was a video. And I was like, a video? What? And at the time, oh my God, Holy Spirit had swooped in with Coldplay for me. I was a fan of Coldplay, but just
Yeah.
from a distance, you know? But there was this concentrated experience with Coldplay and messages were coming through for me. So Coldplay swooped into my reality. And by the time I was like to the point, Jody, to the point, I'm in the midst of my Coldplay experience. Okay. And I'm not just listening to music, it's a whole fucking healing experience. Okay. I'm laying on my couch and I'm like, I wonder if they're on tour right now. I wonder where they are. I bet if they're touring, I could just picture them on stage and just be there in mind. And, I look it up. They're fucking in Edmonton the next day and the day after that. My mind cracked the fuck open and I
Oh,
freaked out.
yeah.
There's no way Spirit shows up like this. Like it was so fucking obvious and clear. I went to Coldplay. It was so like as if they're there the next day.
Yeah.
Like it was beyond what makes sense. Beyond. And so when it came time for me to fill out my form, and my computer was new, like I had a whole Angel experience with Mac. It was a whole thing. So the computer was new. So I was just learning how to use it, right? And what do I do for this video? I knew I didn't want to just talk. I was like, I can't do that. Couldn't do that. And then it was like, oh my God, I'm gonna record myself singing and dancing to Sky Full of Stars. So that's what I did. I was jumping around, dancing and singing to Sky Full of Stars. And then Laverne told me when she got my application and got the video, she was like, oh my God, you guys have to see this. it was so genuine. It was so genuine. And all I did was listen. I don't remember thinking about it. It just came in. No, you're going to do this. You're going to do this, you know? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I had to play the song out here. I couldn't play it and edit it into my dancing because I didn't know how. And I wanted it to sound perfect, but it couldn't be that way. So it's like faded music in the background and I'm jumping around, right? But it was like I was just listening and following and didn't even know how much I was listening and following. Yeah. Super authentic, really vulnerable, really vulnerable. But that's what you sign up for. Not just in saying yes to waking up, but yes to whatever spirit is providing. If you're going to Living Miracles, you are going because your yes is huge. Because they will show up in the perfect way for you, even if you don't want it there. I really wanted to look at this. Yeah, you did. Fuck. Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to see how this goes for you.
Hmm.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too.
Because this is your first time in any kind of community? Like living in any
But
kind of
living, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I've been on my own for 8 years. I always had a boyfriend before that, that I lived with. I lived in I had took over a rooming house once, and so I lived in kind of that type of community, but it certainly wasn't like a like-minded community. So yeah, this certainly my family was not a community. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be triggering as fuck. It's gonna be triggering. It's just, yeah, it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, the last time I was there, oh, that was for that stay actually. I tried to leave. I was like, Laverne, I want to leave. I want to go. I gotta go. And she went to see Suzanne right away, and then Laverne came back to me and she's like, Suzanne wants to talk to you. I was like, what? And she's like, oh yeah, I went and told Suzanne, and Suzanne never does this. If people want to leave, so be it, but she wants to talk to you. So I went to see Suzanne, and then she said all this stuff to me. It's like, no, you're not done. You can't go. It's not time for you to go, and blah. And I'm like, oh, but like when the discomfort gets to a certain point and there's some resistance to really embracing it, you have to try to run.
Mhm.
You have to try to run. And then I stayed. And then a few weeks later, it came organically. Okay, it's time to go. Oh my God, it was so much better to go on that note rather than trying to run,
Right.
you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty brilliant. That was humbling
Hmm.
because you really see. I mean, if you're there, open, like totally exposed and open, then you're going to see the things you don't want to see. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I guarantee there's things you don't want to see. You'd rather
absolutely.
not see, rather not feel.
Yeah, I already have a list of them. And then I know there's ones under there that I'm not even aware of.
Yep. That's how it works.
Yeah,
That's how it works. Stuff comes up, it makes space for the next stuff. And that
absolutely.
makes space for the next stuff. And each layer, the right circumstances and mighty companions and whatever environment show up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. What a ride. It came to me today, like I've been on this healing journey for 13 years. I hit rock bottom in 2010, and I've been on this healing journey, and I've really been pondering this with Jesus and like what happened there and what's really going on, and because it's in the course, the body doesn't heal. Like verbatim, the body doesn't heal. Because and this is not verbatim anymore, but because the body doesn't get sick, it's the mind that is sick. Because the body is just a projection of the mind. And so, like for my story, what the fuck happened? Because I've healed. I was so sick and I'm not anymore. And I was shown very clearly it's the mind that was healed. Had nothing to do with the body. I mean, yeah, it manifests as my body got healed, but that's because it was my mind that got healed. So it's not like that, because I was really wrestling with this, like, that's not what happened. You didn't get healed. You're not healed. And like, no, that is what happened. I did get healed. I am healed. My mind is healing. That's what we're doing here. We're healing the mind.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is interesting because in Master Sha's system, he says that heal the mind, or sorry, he says heal the soul, mind and the body will follow. So he puts soul power above mind power. And even though I'm not supposed to call teachers wrong, that's just not correct.
Mhm.
It's a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's level confusion.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, level confusion.
Yeah.
There is nothing higher than the mind. It is all
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. And like if it's helpful to have the body functioning a certain way so that you can be the miracle worker that you signed up to be,
Yeah.
then that's what happens. Like whatever is required for your miracle work is what you will have. If the body needs to be able to walk around and function, then it will. If it doesn't matter, then maybe whatever's going on, maybe that doesn't go away. Because form does not, as you heal, right? As the mind gets healed, it's painful to expect form to change with you.
Mhm.
If you expect form to look just as sparkly as you feel, then you're probably going to be let down. Yeah, it's such a relief to me. The whole
Yeah.
what the body isn't. The body's not all these things that you think it is. And I went back many, many, many times to my course, my course book, the section that's about sickness and praying about
That's what
sickness.
I'm reading right now.
Yeah, don't pray
That's
for the
the part
body
I'm
to be
reading
healed.
right now. Yeah.
Do not pray for the body to be healed.
Yeah.
Pray to be shown that you're not a body.
Yes. What's this quote? The body doesn't need healing, but the mind that thinks it's a body is sick indeed.
That's pretty clear, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
wiggle room there.
Yeah.
It's like, boom.
Yeah.
Say it again. Say it again.
The body doesn't need healing, but the mind that thinks it's a body is sick indeed.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah. Like, can I show you my hand? Can you see that?
I can, yeah.
Like, oh my God. It's like something in my mind is eating itself. It's like
Whoa.
I've had this for 4 years, 3 or 4
Wow.
years, and it's bad right now. Like, it gets itchy. And so I scratch.
Yeah.
And then I scratch so much that the skin gets really thick and leathery. And
Yeah.
then I want to peel it off.
Yeah.
And then I peel it off, which is always a disaster because it's raw, juicy skin
Yeah.
underneath. And
Yeah.
then it's not bleeding, but it's oozing juice
Oh,
and
fun.
it burns. And
Yeah.
then it gets itchy. It's raw and it gets itchy. And then I scratch the raw.
Mm.
Oh my God.
Mm.
Like there is some sickness in my mind in regards to the body. And my skin is so dry. It's like soft sandpaper,
Mm.
and I'm not neutral about this. Like I am like I want this to be different,
Mhm.
So like there is some sickness. There is definitely sickness in the mind. My knee swells every once in a while. I get the pain, resistance headache pain in there.
The guiltless mind cannot suffer. It's the guilt.
Yeah, this is for
Yeah.
sure. That's guilt. Yeah.
I have a history of chronic pain that I don't have anymore, and but my shoulders. And I used to say this for years after the pain left, I would say, but I still have residual shoulder issues. And then they went away. And guess what just came back? Like, yeah, got some shoulder stuff that's come up. Like it just like, oh, isn't that interesting? You got some suffering
Well, you know what I find?
going on.
It's like, okay, so you start the awakening journey, right? And you're on it for a while. So you get to a place where we're at, right? Where it's like, okay, there's a lot of integration of the truth. There's a lot of willingness. There's a lot of practical application, But I find it looks like, oh my God, do you ever see that scene in what's that Rapunzel cartoon?
I don't know.
Oh my God. What is it called? Anyway, there's a scene where she breaks free from her stepmother, who's quite evil and using her to her advantage in evil ways, right? And Rapunzel, she goes through this like roller coaster experience as she's leaving with her rescuer, where she feels like, woohoo, I'm free. And then she panics and it's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then woohoo! And the scene is so great. And David, they use this movie because you get to watch her go, yay, freedom! When she's just
Yeah.
like the freedom, and then plummets, like the ego takes over
Mm.
and the guilt. I left my stepmother. What is she gonna do?
Yeah.
Even though she treats me like shit. And then woohoo! And then oh my God, it's so funny, and it's funny from the perspective of spirit because that's what we do. We That's what happens. It's like there's this mass integration of the truth, and so we go through some healing, and we get this elation, and then we plummet, and
Mm.
then we go through some healing, more integration, practical application,
Yeah.
and then we come back up, and then we plummet, and
Yeah.
it's
We call that the cha-cha-cha. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I
It's
mean, for
not
me, it's
linear.
probably more daily.
Hmm.
It's probably daily. I
Yeah.
imagine for other people, it's more like weeks,
Yeah.
you know, and then months maybe or whatever. But yeah. But I'm careful with that too because I can't tell my advances from my retreats.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
still feel like I do. That is definitely backwards. This is fucking backwards.
Yeah.
This
It's
has
gotta
to
be
be
bad.
backwards,
Gotta
right?
be. Gotta be.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually quite convincing, even though I know the truth.
Yeah.
I know the truth.
Of course.
I know what's a lie, and I know what the truth is at any given moment. But yet, it's still in there running around having some kind of effect. Yeah. This is a long one.
Yeah. I'm gonna call it epic conversations. Yeah. I've got so many notes here, not just from this conversation, but just all over the place notes. Yeah, willingness and commitment is going to go in there too. Yeah. Yeah, I love these conversations. It's so helpful. I love it. I love it when people show up. I love it. It's so interesting because Reina, who you haven't met yet, she hasn't been back. And then Marcy hasn't been back either.
Yeah,
And
she
I
cut
talked,
out in the middle of one of our talks.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
talked to her. So she's got just so much going on right now. She like literally can't get here. And she knows it. She sees it. 'Cause we laugh about it. She asks me, how's the dream going? And yeah, like it's gotten so chaotic for her right now and like so much resistance. Like her phone is all fucked up. She literally can't make a phone call, can't get online. Like it's just so it's funny though because it's just such an opportunity to watch my mind when people show up, when people disappear, the fact that I miss them and wish that they would come back. And then it's also just such an adventure like when nobody shows up and I talk to myself for 20 minutes. It's like, it's all just perfect. I wanted to say this at the end of Calico's meeting when I did my little spiel. It was just like another thank you. I'm finally starting to get it. You're perfect. I'm perfect. This whole fucking thing is perfect. I'm finally starting to get that. Like I'm like sinking into that, relaxing into that. Like, no, this everything here is perfect. Regardless of what is happening in form, regardless of the meaning I put on it, regardless of what I think it is, it's all perfect. Especially when it goes wrong. That's even more perfect.
Yeah, when I think it's going wrong, and when I think it's going well, like when I think it's going right, those are the same things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And
my
it's
version of
inverted.
that, sorry?
It's inverted.
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't know which is which. You don't know what's good and what's bad. What was it? You don't know when you're retreating and when you're
Yeah, I can't tell my advances from my retreats.
advances. Yes, advances from retreats.
Yeah, I can't tell right and wrong.
Yep.
I can tell worse or better.
Yep. Good or bad.
Yeah, good or I don't even have the ability to understand that.
Hmm.
I don't have the ability to decide that, to make that distinction.
Yeah.
And it's hubris to think that I do understand that and I can make that distinction. That's just the lost territory. That's just the phantom zone. Superman, it's the phantom zone. But I want to go to the fucking fortress of solitude. Like that's where I want to be. I don't want to be in the phantom zone. The phantom zone is where Clark goes to get his training. It's where he goes and is told, "You're not listening. These
Mm.
are your instructions." But I want to do it my way. That's basically what he's saying each time he goes to the Fortress of Solitude. I want to do it my way. And then he goes off and does it his way. And all this shit happens. And then he goes back to the fortress
Yeah.
and he hears, "Well, you did it your way. Now you know what that looks like and
Yeah.
feels
This
like.
is the
How does
result.
that go for you?"
Yeah. Told you so.
Yeah, and he does that over and over and over again. It's like, oh my God, that lesson is so valuable. It's so far reaching. Like it touches all of us
Mhm.
every day. I want to do it my way for various reasons, not just control. You know, I feel safer when I do it my way. That toxic belief, that familiarity is safe and the right way, the best way, the good way. Wow, that's a toxic one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Superman is killing me. Smallville is killing me. Even the name of the show. Well, I remember pausing on an episode and telling Andrew about it. I paused and then I noticed the episode was called Spirit. And the show is Smallville. So if I'm
Yeah.
not in Spirit, I'm in Smallville. Like
Mhm.
small.
Mhm.
It may as well be called Shit Town. Like if I'm not in Spirit, I'm in Shit Town.
You need to watch Shit Creek next. Shit's Creek. That's your next one. Your next adventure.
I've not seen that. Oh my God.
I've seen one episode. It was funny.
Oh my God, I have money triggers. I know they had a lot of money and they lost it all,
Yeah,
right?
you got taken away from them. Yeah.
Yeah, I have money triggers.
Well, that might be your next adventure.
Oh, You know,
I
it's like I would love to have a job. I don't know how to have a job right now.
Well, you
I
do have
feel
a
like I
job.
don't know how to have a job right now.
You're working full time.
I know that.
This is
I
your
know
job.
I'm fucking working full time. That came in just in the back when I was sharing about when I got fired. Like all this stuff happened after I got fired. And the the everything that had been happening the 12 years previous to that, the job, was no longer in the mind. So all this space was there for
Mhm.
all this stuff. And it needed the space to come in, like I know I have a job and I know I'm doing it. I know that I'm doing it to the fucking Lord.
Murderer.
Catch that? There it is.
Got him.
That was like spontaneous ego, like boom,
Yeah.
you little fucker.
Actos in action.
It's not, oh, look, it's a little spirit mighty companion flying, but no.
Oh, a reflection of me.
Yeah,
Christ embodiment.
no, it's not the Christ child flying by. It's like, I'm killing you. Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah. Oh, somebody once said to me, oh my God, this is years and years ago, but it made me think we have crazy in a bottle. Crazy in a bottle. And me, this right now was the cork coming out of the bottle and the crazy coming out. Like that was very spontaneous and but very true to what I was feeling in the moment. Like it was instant.
Yeah.
And it was expressed, exposed. But that is crazy in a bottle. I have a bottle and there's crazy in it. Mhm. Yeah. My version of perfect, like you were saying, is we're right on schedule. I'm right on schedule. I can feel that. I don't feel the perfect thing, but I feel
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Like, oh yeah. There's like a, oh, like the fog lifts a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm right on schedule. Oh, okay.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can just breathe. I can just relax. I'm right on schedule.
Reflect into that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Perfect. I just see that as perfect. It's
I know, but you know what?
semantics.
I know it's the difference between like uh let it go. Just let it go. Whatever that it is, let it go. That never fucking works for me. But you know what does? Embracing. If I picture myself embracing
Yeah.
something I'm trying to let go of, oh my God. Because I feel like if I picture myself embracing whatever trigger, then I can take it in and love it.
Mm.
That imagery has
Mhm.
been so helpful for me.
Mhm.
Just for me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a paradox to me. In a way, it's the opposite, but the same. Like it's to let go and to embrace is the opposite. But as you embrace it, you're letting it go. So it's the same thing. Paradox. Wow.
It helps me notice. Like I can't get away with trying to let something go without being really honest about what it is or how I feel about it. You know what I mean? I can't skip any steps. If I'm
Yeah.
embracing something, there's no room to skip anything. Yeah. Ever since I heard that, which was years ago, it just, oh, that feels way easier.
Yeah, there's no skipping steps.
No.
No, no. And you wouldn't want to even if you could. Because I think if I skip a step, I can fall back. And I don't want to do that. Yeah. Well, my control issues are coming up with food. I'm hungry. It's past my dinner time.
Okay.
Any more burning desires to share?
No, I think we've covered a lot.
We sure have. Holy shit. Have you ever watched one of these recordings?
No, I haven't
It's
actually.
amazing. I've watched almost all of them. You need me to send you the link again?
Yeah, send it again. Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, there's so many gems here. Like, there's just so many gems in these conversations.
Yeah.
And when you hear it again, you hear it in a different way, and then of course you just straight up miss things. Um, yeah, I love watching the recordings. At first, like it was really hard to watch myself in the recording, but now it's just like listening to, two other people have a really enlightening conversation.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So thank you for showing up, Christine.
Yep, you too.
Love you. I'll
Love you.
see you tomorrow and
Yep.
then again on Monday for sure,
Yep.
potentially. Good night.
Bye.